Hey everyone, Nick from Gallery 7, and I'm back with sort of what's Nick working on today. We don't have any framing business in now, so I thought I'd do just a look at something called building out a frame. So I don't have an actual painting to do this with, so I just made a little conceptual piece which I call Question Everything. Just kidding, but this represents a painting that we might need to frame. And here we just have a basic nice little gold frame that we've had lying around. So this happens when you frame a painting sometimes. The painting goes in, and when it's all done, you know, it's going to look like that. Actually, it may be better to hang the question mark upside down. That's another discussion. But what you can see is that this is sticking out beyond the frame. And so when you hang it on the wall, it may not look that good. There's something you can do, and I'll be back in 1 minute and show you some offset clips. Okay, I'm back with the offset clip. And the offset clip is how we're going to hold this onto the frame. And it would just go like that and get screwed in. And it can look a little clumsy, and if this isn't that wide, you know, when you're walking down a hallway, you might see these peeking out between the wall and the frame. So it's not the best thing to do. So what we really want to do is something called build out the frame. We call this doing a build out. This is a piece of poplar, and if we come right at the end of it, you can see that this has been angled at about 15 degrees. Let me get a head on, there you go. That's been angled at about 15 degrees. And what's going to happen is we are going to run this all the way around like this. So I'm going to see you over at the Morso chopping machine, and we're going to begin to cut this. This is a Morso chopper machine with unbelievably sharp blades. You have to be very careful with these things. And I'm just going to come down, and now I've cut a 45-degree angle on this. And I'm going to see you back at the frame in a second. Okay, and we have the pieces cut. And so now let's look at the problem that we're solving one more time. This is just too deep for the frame. We don't want this sticking out. So these are the pieces that were cut for the build out, and they are going to be screwed onto the back of the frame. They're going to go all the way around. And this is then going to give us enough room to pin the piece in. So next we're going to drill it out with countersunk holes for the screws to screw this on, and then we're going to put it together on the joiner machine. All right, I'm back, and the build out has been assembled and drilled. So if we come in here and take a look, it's going to get screwed on like this. And you'll notice it's inset a little bit this way. It's not completely flush, you know, maybe a little less than 1/8 of an inch. So now the question is, what color should it be? You don't really want to, usually you don't try to match the frame. I mean, you could work to match this gold, but if you go into museums and look at a lot of antique frames, you will see museums do this all the time. They'll have a valuable antique frame and they'll do a build out to make the frame deep enough to accommodate a very thick canvas. And it's kind of hard to convince people that when you do this, it doesn't look like, oh, you cheaped it out or couldn't find the right frame or it's jerry built or something. This is a really valid way to do it. As a matter of fact, we do build outs for someone who has a multi-million-dollar collection of paintings, and we do a lot of build outs on his antique frames for him. So this is appropriate and it looks great. So the color we use is either a brown or sort of almost a deep olivey brownish kind of green. And I'm going to show you the color now. This is the color that we like to use. It just seems to fade away when it gets in behind the frame. You can also do like a dark brown. Let's just paint one more side quickly. Of course, we're going to let this dry before we give it a couple more coats before we finalize everything. But let's get a sense of what this is going to be like. So then when it's on the wall, it's just kind of going to be like that. It's sort of a nice contrast. It kind of goes away. Very appropriate. And I'm going to finish painting this, get it nice and smooth, and we'll show it to you when it's all done. Hey everyone, I'm back. I know you've been on the edge of your seats waiting a long time for the final installment of doing a build out on a frame. The build out is done. Here it is. It's going to go on like this. And what you don't want to do is glue it onto the frame, especially if you're working with an antique frame. You always want what you put on anything like that to be able to come off. But what I will do is use a little gentle double-sided ATG tape just to hold it in place while I screw it on. Now I'm just going to position it so we have that, 3/16 reveal all the way around its inset a little bit. And now we're going to screw. All right, the build out is on, and this allows me to put my painting in. And I have enough depth here to pin this in place. And when it's all done, it's going to look like that. And if you look at the side of it, it's very subtle. And when this is on a wall, that just kind of goes away. It looks very nice. And it's a very appropriate way to make your frame deep enough to handle a deep canvas. Okay, guys, everyone hang in there. We'll talk to you soon.